Well, it was my first solo interview since we've been doing the show, so it was a little concerning, but we got through it.
Oh, Steve, this is so amazing. Little Ryan's got his wings.
I know.
Rode up.
It was my first.
God, did it hurt?
We shouldn't do shows this early.
Nope.
This is the AT Banter podcast, a balanced and entertaining look at assistive technology, accessibility, and its importance in people's lives. Join Rob Minot, Ryan Fleury, and Steve Barclay as they banter with people around the world about anything and everything regarding assistive technology and the disability community. Now, on with the show.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of AT Banter.
Banter.
Okay. I'll have to pause there because something was up, but clearly we're paranoid, Ryan. Clearly
I thought Santa was en route.
Nothing going on here, nothing to see.
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, my name is Rob Minot. Joining me today, Mr. Ryan Fleury.
Hello again.
And Mr. Steve Barclay, who may or may not be up to something.
I am not up to something.
What's that line from the Harry Potter books? I do declare that I'm up to no good.
That's right. Yeah. The
Something
Marauders
like that.
map. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, how are you guys?
Oh, just better and better.
Oh, yeah? Really? Man, I haven't heard that type of an attitude for about 10 minutes.
It's Friday. What can you say?
Buoyed by the vaccine news.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, never mind.
No, well, I'm buoyed by the fact that my daughter doesn't have COVID.
Oh, good. Did she? So I guess she thought that she did. Did she have some?
They had a couple of students at Vancouver Film School test positive.
Oh, gee.
So they have shut down the school for a week. They were doing a deep clean, and they sent all the students off to get tested.
Man, that's brutal.
She's fine.
Oh, good. Yeah, at least the light's at the end of the tunnel, I feel, for all this. We're definitely not out of the woods. We still got to be real careful, but at least I think we can see an end by the end of the spring, maybe.
Maybe.
September, maybe.
Or September, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It is good. Things are getting better.
Yeah, right? I think so. Although
Doing all right, getting good grades. Future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
There you go.
Timbuk 3. Hey, yeah, it's going to be a weird Christmas, though, I have to say.
Yeah, we're doing video chats with family for Christmas Eve and then Christmas morning, opening gifts and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be different. We're not being with family.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's all good. Just means I can, stay in my jammies all day and start drinking at 6 a.m. So,
yeah, listen.
Nice. so like an hour later than usual.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be very weird, but it's just different, So we got to suck it up and have a different Christmas this year. It's not the end of the world, right? It's not like
exactly.
It's not like a giant meteor is going to strike the Earth. Although that's 2021, right?
That's next year. Great. Something else to look forward to.
I don't know. I keep seeing articles saying 2021 is going to be a great year.
Well, it could be. We don't know yet.
That's what they said about 2020.
Exactly. That's well, we can't really say that. We don't know. Let's hope so for sure. But I don't think that anybody can really will 2021 to be a good year. But it certainly couldn't be much worse.
I remember when people were saying, hey, 2019 was a dumpster fire. 2020 is going to be so much better. Woo, get rid of 2019.
Yeah. 2019 was great looking back.
Little did we know.
Yeah, indeed. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today.
What are we doing today?
I don't know. You tell me.
Why does it always fall to me, damn it?
Well, I'm sorry. For the same reason the editing always falls to me. So do it.
All right. Today we are speaking with Marc Arneson, Director of Community from Hadley.
Well, you know what? And we have to step in here because actually we are not. You are. You went off and conducted this little interview yourself.
That's right. We had some scheduling conflicts with my fellow hosts, so I took it upon myself. Well, no, I was told to go ahead and do the interview. So I did the interview. And I thought it turned out all right.
Well, we'll find out and we'll judge you.
Exactly.
You just sell it, Flurry. Okay. Didn't suck. It's kind of like Rise of Skywalker. It was serviceable. Well, good. I for one am looking forward to hearing about it. So yeah.
Hey.
What? Yes.
Hey. Do we talk about the promotional item?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a big conversation here amongst ourselves about captioning for the show and realized, hey, we need money for captioning. So we must do fundraising types of activities in order to get money for captioning the show. So now, if you go to the Canadian Assistive Technology website, www.canasstech.com, CANASSTECH.com, and you go to products, if you go down to promotional items, you can now buy yourself the very, very much coveted AT Banter cowbell.
That was the internet collectively gasping.
I know. And if you order it now, you may even get it in time for Christmas. Really?
Can we guarantee that? That seems a bit dicey. 11th? What is it? The 11th? 10 days. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Let's just promise the moon. Yes, you can. Buy it now. Buy now. What are you waiting for? Stop listening to this podcast and go buy it now.
Absolutely.
No, that's exciting. That is exciting.
So you can take your chances on draws, or you can just outright buy one.
Which I don't know. Maybe we're not going to do any more draws. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot about this part.
Yep.
If you buy yourself a AT Banter cowbell, which is on our site at $25, it comes with a gift certificate for our store for $25.
Holy crap. So what you're saying, Steve, is that it's essentially free.
Essentially.
Well, I think, with $25, you could buy yourself some way around tags.
Yeah.
Start labeling things around your house.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's not the only promotional news that we have today. If anybody was just hankering for a podcast episode full of promotional news, but we should also say that next Thursday, December 17th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are doing our Christmas show live.
Woo!
Bum, bum, bum.
So if you would like to enter the Zoom room and listen to us make complete idiots of ourselves for 45, 50 minutes, probably get kind of tipsy, email us, cowbell@atbanter.com, and we'll put you on a list and we'll send you the invite when it's ready.
Or alternatively, you can do it yourself by going to the CanAss Tech website, going to the bottom of the homepage and signing up there.
Look at that. 2 ways to do it, people. So now, did you guys hear about the BC government cutting back the income and disability assistance top-up that they were doing every month?
No.
So I guess essentially people who qualified here in BC for the past, 3, 4, 5 months have been getting an extra $300 a month for COVID relief. Now they have cut that in half for the next 3 months, and that's probably going to be they say the last 3 months that it will actually exist. And they have done that in order to provide this one-time only relief for everybody.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It's getting a lot of pushback.
Well, in the early going of it, they were talking about potentially making it permanent.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
No.
JK. And especially giving a one-time payment to everybody of $500. I mean, look, I don't need it. I mean, I'll take it, but I mean, I don't need that. I would rather see that money going to people who actually need it, as opposed to just sending it to everybody as some sort of I don't know what to call it, a recovery benefit, I guess.
But I'll tell you what, let's donate it to the food bank. Let's just take that check, turn it right around, give it to the food bank.
$500, that would buy a lot of food
For a lot of people.
Yep. That's a good idea. I don't know what they're thinking sometimes.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I know there's people out there who need it, who $500 right now would make a lot of difference to. But, there's got to be some way to tie it to need, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure almost everybody could use it. Like, yeah, it's great. Like, I'm sure a ton of people have been impacted one way or the other. But at the same time, like, there are people that need it way more. So, yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I don't know how this is all played out. I mean, I think that it's kind of a done deal at this point. But the fact that, they're taking away from one to give to another is, I don't know, that's just not the way to do it.
Agreed.
And they haven't announced any sort of income assistance past March, right? So this is really only for the last 3 months, and all these people are going to be getting $150 a month as opposed to $300 for the next 3 months, and then they're looking at nothing. So that's not good. So shame on you, BC.
Indeed.
Not
Boo.
Cool dudes, especially at Christmas.
Great news from Envision. Finishing the year with a boom, we've officially launched the Envision glasses and have amazing news about the Envision app. We worked around the clock to make the Envision app the best text recognition app out there, with features like dynamic type support and the jump to page feature in document scanning, support for more file types like Word and EPUB, and the Envision library feature where you can import and store all types of documents to read them at a later time. Additionally, we added column detection, so now newspapers, recipes, and many more documents with columns are easy to read, and you can translate entire documents to over 60 different languages. Do you want to get the Envision app in December? Hurry up, because you will not only get 35% off our annual subscription, you can also win a pair of Envision glasses. The raffle will include all new subscribing to our annual or lifetime subscription up to December 24th, 2020. Entries after that time and date will not be included in the draw. We'll announce the winner on December 25th. Happy holidays. As for the Envision glasses, we officially work with distributors in the USA, UK, Germany, the Netherlands, and Japan, with many more to come. Check our website for more information and to request a demo. We're looking forward to welcoming more people to the Envision community. Check www.letsenvision.com to find out more about Envision App's winter sale and the Envision glasses.
Joining me now is Marc Arneson from Hadley. All right, so Marc, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I am flying solo for the first time in 4.5 years.
Oh my goodness, first time. We'll get through this, Ryan.
I hope so. If not, I blame it on my co-hosts. So let's start. It's funny, I was looking back at the 4.5 years we've been doing this show, and there's still a couple of big players in the blindness and partially sighted community that I haven't reached out to, Hadley being one of them. And it just kind of dumbfounded me as to why we haven't had you guys on the show yet. So can you tell us a little bit about Hadley and what you guys do?
Yeah. So we are actually celebrating our 100th year this year.
Wow.
So 2020 is our centennial, which is, it's kind of cool when you think about eyesight 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. It's a nice little play on that.
Market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some opportunities there.
Exactly.
I think. But so William Hadley, he was our founder, and he was a Chicago high school teacher, a public school teacher, and so he lost his sight later in life. He in his late 50s, I believe, he had lost complete sight, and so it obviously impacted his ability to teach. He had to give up teaching as part of the outcome of that. But he also one of his passions was to read. Like that's what he loved to do, I guess. And, one of the things we've also done at Hadley recently is renovated our building along with a lot of new things that we're doing. And we've turned it into a little bit of a museum. And so my office, there's different pictures along the way, but there's a picture of William by my office where he's sitting in his library, and it's just rows and rows of books. And it was just, well-read guy. He was German, English, French. So that was his passion, and obviously that was impacted by his vision loss as well. But that was the one thing he just didn't. He felt like he couldn't give up. He wanted to be able to continue to read, and so he wanted to learn Braille to be able to do that. And he had a hard time finding people to help him learn Braille back in the 1920s, living in the Chicago area, even big city, but it's not a lot of opportunities. And so he ended up teaching himself. And, I'm trying to learn a little bit of Braille myself, which is not an easy task to do, and I've got support with me. And so I can imagine how difficult it was for him, but he was motivated. And that's what he was passionate about, but he didn't want anybody else to have to go through that. The idea of, kind of being alone in this journey. And so he had a conviction that he wanted to help anybody who wanted to learn Braille. He wanted to be able to help them regardless of where they lived, across the country. And so I guess the story goes, he had a neighbor who was also his doctor, his ophthalmologist, Dr. E.V.L. Brown. And I guess they were out on the porch one night and Dr. Brown had a traveling evangelist staying with them. And the three of them kind of cooked up this idea of Braille by mail. And so they were going to develop curriculum. As a teacher, he was used to doing that, and they were going to put together assignments, and anybody that wanted to learn, they were going to mail them out using the U.S. mail and correspond that way. And there was a woman in Kansas, was her first student. She raised her hand, said, "Help me," and they mailed her out information. They corresponded through the mail, and that's how it all got started 100 years ago. And Braille has been predominantly what we've done at Hadley. I think I heard a statistic about 10,000 people that have learned Braille throughout the world at Hadley. So it's been a cornerstone of what we do and something that we continue to do. In addition to a lot of new things that we've actually started doing in the last year as well. Yeah, that's a little bit of history. Yeah,
and we'll get to the new stuff too.
Sure.
I'm totally blind myself, and I lost my sight in 1995, and the Hadley name sticks out to me because I'm pretty sure in about 1996, I think, when I started to consider learning Braille, I believe I got and I don't know if this course even exists anymore, but I probably became a member of Hadley. I had a grade 1 and grade 2 Braille books that were mailed out to me, as well as a course I think called Relevant Braille back then.
Okay.
Are you guys still doing that worldwide? Sending out Braille correspondence? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we have a series for tactile Braille learners. It's similar to what you experienced. They would call and essentially enroll in the course, and we would mail out all the instructions, and then they would be assigned an instructor as well. And you correspond with your instructor, however you prefer, email, mail, phone, and you complete assignments, you send them back to us, we grade them, we send them back to you, and you kind of work with an instructor to make it through we have 4 different series as part of that course. There's a Braille at 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so the hope is by the time that you're completed with Braille at 4, you're pretty proficient in reading and writing Braille.
Well, and back in the 90s, we didn't have UEB, so now I have to relearn some of it.
I know, right?
Thanks.
Right.
It's hard enough.
But that's the joy of it, isn't it? The learning part.
Is it? It's a journey, right?
Exactly.
So do you guys offer, let's say I was to enroll again and start learning UEB, do you guys offer the assistance over Zoom with an instructor?
We don't at this point. That's actually interesting. That's an interesting point. I think, at this point with our instructors, most of our students correspond through, kind of traditional way. I mean, considering email traditional,
sure.
But just the mail, email, and phone calls and things like that. Obviously you're completing assignments, and so you're mailing those in to be graded. Mm-hmm. But if there's questions and things like that, our instructors are always available. But yeah, that might be a new way to move forward a little bit. Is it's a little bit more personalized on Zoom, I guess.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So do you guys then, like when the courses are mailed out, you said instructions are included. Are those also in Braille or audio format, or how does that work?
Yeah, we've got the, for those who are obviously they're learning Braille at this point, so we put everything on the digital talking book cartridges. Now, I know, in the U.S. we have this system where all the national libraries are mailing out what they call digital talking book players. Yeah, and so we've been using that kind of format, and so a lot of our new users don't have those. We're helping them. Request those from the National Library, getting them mailed out, and so we're getting them, those players, as well as mailing out the cartridges for those players with all of our audio content. For those that don't have the player or aren't able to get the player, we're just putting some of that content on flash drives for people. So it is all audio.
Okay, yeah, because I'm in Canada and I don't think we have access to NLS up here. If we do, I'm not sure how that all works, but
yeah, I think the audio, because it's all audio instructions. So I think we're putting them on flash drives for those that aren't able to get outside of the U.S.
Okay. And the reason I bring up these courses is because when I was looking at the Hadley website, I saw Braille courses for sighted people to learn Braille, but I didn't see any methods or means for the blind to learn Braille.
Yeah, so there's a couple of options on our new website, which we launched in July. There is an option if you're Braille for a tactile learner is one of the workshops that's available. And then there's an enrollment process because we are mailing you out information and we're assigning an instructor, which is really one of the only courses that we're currently doing that way. The other ones are pretty much all web-based at this point. So it's I shouldn't say that. We have all of them on our website, but then we also are mailing out in large print Braille and audio all of our workshops too. But for the sighted learner, it's interesting, Ryan. What we started doing just a lot of research about who our audience was, who the students were that were coming to Hadley, and what they were wanting to learn. And what we recognized is that a large majority of sighted people, students, were coming to Hadley to learn Braille. Most of them were teachers who were, teaching their students Braille and wanting to learn themselves or kind of brush up their skills a little bit. And so they were coming to Hadley to learn. And then also we had a significant number of visually impaired, individuals who had some sight, but were anticipating further vision loss. Right. And so they wanted to learn Braille as a means for kind of everyday use. And, we heard all these stories about wanting to, tell which bathroom you're going into or, which floor you're pressing on the elevator. Kind of enough Braille to manage day to day, but not necessarily to be, reading a novel or writing a novel or that kind of thing. But they currently had enough sight to be able to manage online. And so we developed this new series of Braille for the sighted learner. And it's we're getting some wonderful feedback from it. It's a little bit kind of gamified. Okay. And so you're kind of dragging and dropping and clicking and selecting and you're getting little hints and rewards and things like that. So it's kind of interactive, and people are really giving us some feedback that they're learning the content relatively quickly, and they're retaining it and kind of having fun doing it too. Well,
that's the key, right?
Kind of win.
Yeah, make it fun.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're right. Learning a new language is difficult, and if you can make it fun, it's easier to kind of swallow a little bit. But
do you find that we've had this discussion for decades, but do you find that the interest in Braille is waning, or is there still a real high desire for Braille?
Well, it's still one of the most significant. It's still a cornerstone of what we do here at Hadley, and so we have quite a few enrollments every month. I mean, there's quite a few people that are still wanting to learn Braille and help with Braille, but we are finding, Ryan, also that there's a significant population out there that are really wanting help with just all kinds of other facets of their life when it comes to vision loss. Right. This growing population of older adults new to vision loss, which is going to continue to grow, we didn't have a lot of resources for them. And gosh, even about, we looked again, going back to some of the research and looking at what we were doing at Hadley, about 10% of our population or students that were coming to us were older adults new to vision loss. And that's, it's about 75% of the visually impaired population and growing.
Wow.
And so there was this big disconnect for what we were doing and who was coming to Hadley, And again, Braille was something that we were going to continue to do. I think we do it well, and we want to be able to provide that service, but we felt like we were missing something, and we really wanted to address that as well. And so, we went out and we talked to as many people as we can. We started an advisory group, and we've got, close to 2,000 people now that are part of what we call our advisory group, and we're doing a lot of surveying with them. We're doing a lot of one-on-one conversations, a lot of group conversations, really helping them give us some insight and feedback into which way Hadley the direction we're going. And so it's been fascinating.
Yeah, and I can tell by looking at the courses on the website, you guys have daily living and you have technology and of course the Braille for the sighted learner, and I'm probably missing a couple. But can you maybe go into a little bit of detail on what each of those programs might cover?
Yeah, sure. It's so like I said, we really started using our advisors to get a better understanding of kind of the direction that our audience was hoping that we were going to move into, and there were really some key topic areas that kept coming up over and over again as we talked to our advisors and as we sat down with different people. And technology was one of those things that just kept coming up over and over again. It was like, what technology's out there, how can I get it in my hands, and then how am I going to be able to learn how to use it? Yeah. There's a guy, Daryl, that I met, and he, part of my job is actually to sit down. I go to a lot of low vision support groups. I do a lot of interviewing with individual people. So I spend a lot of time on the phone just getting to know people. I think I have the best job in the world. I just get to sit and talk to people and get to know them.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. But Daryl, he was this guy, he said, I want to be able to see better with the vision I currently have. And so he's like, what technology is out there to help me see better with the vision I currently have, which I thought was kind of a cool way to put it. Mm-hmm. And so, one of the things that we did, and this is years ago, we started working with Apple, to really kind of develop what we're calling, instructional videos at that point, workshops now on how to use all the accessibility features that are built into their products. Apple has some wonderful features that are in, all the phone, the iPad, in their MacBook. And a lot of times, people are getting these phones are sitting in their pockets, but they don't know, the benefits or how to use them, or, all the different features that are a part of them. And so we wanted to work with Apple to develop these instructional videos on each accessibility feature that's built into them, how to use the magnifier, how to use zoom text, how to use Siri, voiceover, all these different, features. And they were thrilled with the idea, and they said, sure, let's do this. And so we started in, these little, maybe 5 to 10 minute, workshops, videos on a very specific, targeted feature. And, let's learn that one feature, and then we'll move on to the next one. And so, they can kind of use them as you want, as you need to. And so we did them all for the iPhone, the iPad, the, Apple Watch, the Apple TV. And It was interesting. They asked us, hey, if you're doing these videos for us, can you also do one on this coding app that we have called Swift Playground? Right. Which it's not one of our most popular workshops out there, but for those who want to learn how to code through Apple, we've got that for you.
That's awesome.
But obviously not everybody's Apple, and so we moved on and we went to Android, to working with Google to do these workshops for Android products, and then Microsoft for the Windows operating system, and we're starting some now for all the Office products, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, things like that. Wow. We're trying to do some different workshops on different apps that are out there, like Be My Eyes and Seeing AI. Sure. And Zoom as well. We're getting one launched for Zoom soon. So the idea was, to help people understand what technology's out there, and then once they have it in their hands, let's teach them how to use it and teach them all the different features that are part of it.
And is all of this content free?
It is. Wow. Everything that we do is free of charge. Yeah, there's no cost to if you're visually impaired, if you're a family member, a friend, or a professional, everything's free.
And so for these courses as well, like the Windows and then TalkBack and VoiceOver and stuff, you still have to enroll with Hadley for access to those?
You do.
Okay.
So on the new website, we do have an enrollment process, and this was actually another kind of journey that we took, with some of our students, some of our learners, on how to get our website, as friendly as possible for our audience, for our users. And so we did probably 30, 40 different versions of this site. And we sat down with different people getting feedback left and right. And it's surprising how wrong you can be, when you first try. And so we thought we knew what we were doing, but each step of the way, we got a little bit better. So we tried to make the process as easy as possible. We really want to get people to help as quickly as we can, whatever help they're looking for. And so we started, with our homepage, trying to be pretty simple. We don't have a ton of, links on there and things like that, but one of the more prominent features, our hope, is that there's a button that you can select that says Get Started.
Right.
And so, you're using a screen reader, you got to tab through a little bit. I think it's like 8 tabs, or, I think at is it the B button like a couple times, so,
yep.
Or the B key, but it's, but you get to this button that says Get Started. And the next thing that you have the option of doing is setting your contrast if you want. So we have a couple of different options for contrast. It's like, typically black on white. You can do white text on black, yellow text on black, or I'm sorry, it's black text on yellow, and then blue on yellow as well. And so for those that, that it makes a difference, if contrast is something that's going to help you kind of get through the site and see it a little bit easier, you have that option right there. After the contrast, you have the opportunity to set your font size. And we have kind of a small, medium, and large, and I think the large is like a increase 200%.
Right.
And so you can skip those if it's not relevant to you, or you prefer to keep it the way you want it to. But otherwise, you have the option to kind of get things set up. And it's interesting. There's I think his name was Merle. I'm not remembering his name, but we were walking him through how to kind of look at our site and navigate through our site, and he'd never heard of this idea of the font and contrast size. And so we had at one point like the small, medium, and large A, but that was just not familiar to him. It was totally foreign to him. And so we're like, here, let me try and do this for you. And we set the contrast, and his eyes like lit up. He's like, wow, oh my goodness. And he got a little bit closer to the screen, and he's like, I can see this better now. And I'm like, well, let's try this too. And we increased the font size. And I say this, and Ryan, you're probably not going to believe me, and many people don't, but he literally had a tear in his eye.
I believe you. I actually work in an assistive technology company here in Canada, and it changes lives.
It does.
Yeah.
He said, it feels like you've made this for me.
Wow.
Which is exactly the whole point. And that was that's exactly what we're trying to do. But anyway, you set the contrast font size, and then you can, you get to our topic areas, and that's where you can kind of start to decide, what are you looking to learn? Where can we help you? And the areas are like daily living, as you mentioned, recreation, Braille. We have one on adjusting to vision loss, a category on technology, and then also working, which is highlighting different people in the field, and also some work, employment skills, things like that idea. Once you choose one of the areas that you're wanting to learn, we'll take you to a list of all the different series that we have available. So for example, in our daily living area, we've got series on, like labeling for everyday use, or, safety basics, or clothing series, or,
right.
Cleaning your house, whatever it might be. And so then you'll select one of those series, and within those series, we have different workshops available. So there may be a variety of workshops available in one of the series, like, cleaning could be countertops and services, or whatever it might be. We're then going to give you like a quick 1-minute sample of that video. And then we kind of jump in and start to explain our sign-up process and the reason for it. Ed Haynes, one of our employees here at Hadley, will give you a quick little tutorial on that. And then we bring you right to the sign-up screen. So it just kind of comes right after our video, you'll get to the sign up screen, and we ask for, you can sign up on social, whether it's Facebook, Yahoo, or Gmail. If that's what you prefer, just link it to your social account, or you can use any email or any password that you want to sign up. We're going to ask you a few questions. We'll ask you, what's your relation to vision loss? We'll ask, how'd you hear about Hadley? And then there's one other question I'm forgetting right now, and so there's 3 questions literally that we're going to ask you. And then once you do that, you're signed up and you have full access to everything that we offer. And part of the sign up really is we do want to understand who's coming to Hadley.
Sure.
And who's using the site. Part of the way that we keep everything free at Hadley is we are applying for different grants and things like that. And if we can tell them who our audience is, it opens up more opportunities for funding for us.
Yeah.
The other thing is, once you sign up, your settings, the contrast font that you went through, that all stays the same. So every time you come back, it'll be the same, and you don't have to go through those steps again. And it'll also remember some of the different workshops that you've taken. And so if you're in the middle of one and you have to step away, you can come back and resume that right away too. It's just right there for you. So it remembers some of that stuff. So it's a pretty easy process, and I think there's some benefits that go along with signing up too.
And so is that all accessible for those who are deafblind as well? Like, are there captions or transcriptions or?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah? Wow.
We transcribe every workshop. And then also if there's a resource or something that we talk about, there's a resource section there too that you can, but they're all, and then you can, the audio is available we also are doing these different podcasts and something we're calling discussion groups too. And you can download audio for those, and those are all transcribed as well.
Wow, that's a lot of content. It's phenomenal that you have access to all that content if you're blind or deafblind or sighted for that matter.
Yep. Yeah. No, and then the other, we know not everybody's online. And so, we do have all of our workshops, not all of them, I should say. We have one graphic designer at Hadley, so she's very busy. So not all the content is available offline yet, but we're happy to mail it out, most of our workshops, in large print, in Braille, and in audio, again, either on a flash drive or on the digital talking book cartridge for those NLS players. All you have to do is just give our 800 number a call, and you'll talk to one of our support services team members, and they'll get it mailed out right to you. And those are all free of charge as well.
Nice.
We have a little binder we'll send with you on your first order. We call it our Hadley Learning Library, and so we'll try to keep you organized. And we have those just tabs for those different topic areas that you can kind of keep all your workshops in.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you guys had more and more requests about Amazon and their Fire tablets and their Fire sticks and Fire TVs and developing curriculums for those?
That's a good question. I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
One of the options that you have on every workshop page is to make a suggestion for a workshop.
Right.
And so we're getting quite a few of those coming in. To be honest, I haven't looked at them, in the last month or so. So I don't know if there's any for Amazon products right now. We also have, I don't know, we're doing these things called discussion groups, and that was in response to some of our advisor requests as well. But we have one called Tech It Out, which is all in technology. And so that I know that we do highlight different technology devices and things like that each month that we do them. And I know that we've done some on like Alexa and things like that. So we are highlighting some of those different products on our discussion group each month.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've got a Fire Stick here that I look at every once in a while and go, it's a little bit slower and laggy than the Apple TV I have. But more and more people are asking about the accessibility of these devices by these mainstream companies, and Google keeps kind of revamping their Chromecast and Chromecast TVs and such. So it just seems to be a developing frontier, year after year.
Yeah. No, that's a great suggestion. I'll pass it along to our tech team.
All right. I'll send you my email for my commission. Oh, wait, nonprofit, right. Sorry.
Wait, everything's free. Yeah. So we're happy to send commission on free stuff.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's interesting, and this obviously probably won't be surprising to you as well, but one of the things that we kept hearing coming up over and over again, for some of the people we talked to, our advisors, was this idea of being connected in a group of your peers. There's just over and over again, we were hearing about people just wanting connection and relationships with other people who just understood what they were going through. There's this guy, this Marc that I sat along with, and we were going through some of these different videos, these Apple videos that we were doing, and he was showing, we're going on his phone, and he was talking about all his contacts in his phone and kind of scrolling through them a little bit, and said, it's interesting. He said, I used to get probably 30, 40 calls a week from my friends and my buddies. And he's like, I'm lucky to get like one call a week now, maybe 2 calls a week. He's like, the things that we used to go out and do, it's hard for me to do now. And so they stopped inviting. And then also they just don't know how to talk to me about my vision loss. Like, it's hard for them. And so they just stopped asking. And so it was this idea. It's like, he was just talking about how lonely he felt and how, and he just wanted connection with other people, but he also wanted to be around people who just got it, and understood. And one of the ways that we tried to respond to that, I think we still need to flesh it out a little bit better. But one of the ways was through something we're calling discussion groups. And, once a month, we're giving you an opportunity to join a Zoom call or just call in on your phone and talk about a topic that you might be passionate about. And so we have, different areas that we kind of put together based on, again, feedback from our advisors. But one of the more popular ones we have is called Tech It Out. So once a month we highlight some sort of, technology related topic, whether it's a device or something technology related. And we talk about it. We talk a little bit about how we're using it, benefits, things we don't like about it, whatever. And then we just open it up to discussion, and people can just share their thoughts, ask questions of each other, talk about how they're using this particular thing or not using it. And so it's an opportunity to kind of just get together with other people and talk about a topic that you're interested in or passionate about. And we have one on crafting. We call it the Crafting Circle. We have a resource roundtable where we're highlighting different resources that we know about or asking people about. We have one on gardening called Hadley Growers, a cooking one, What's Cooking. Get Up and Go is all about exercise and staying fit. Travel talk, it's the idea of vacations you've gone on, places you want to visit, places you've been to, or even public transportation and challenges that you're finding with some of that. A writer's circle, people are sharing poetry and short stories, and then we have a weekly one on Spanish and Braille as well. And so this was kind of our initial thought, was trying to connect people with one another on a topic they're passionate about. Like I said, I think we're still trying to flesh out how to do that a little bit better, but it's I think people are finding it useful and enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think, here in Canada, I know our Canadian Council of the Blind have, 3 or 4 Zoom calls a week going. Our Canadian National Institute for the Blind as well have, multiple calls each week. Even our own company here, we have an anti-gloom Zoom room Tuesday mornings that we have. And then awesome. Thursday nights is a virtual pub night. And so we just have, we have regulars who are blind, visually impaired, who come and join us, and we just talk about whatever people want to talk about. And
I love that.
Yeah. And it's one of the things I think going through this pandemic has been very beneficial for, and it's brought the community so much closer together. We have people from across Canada that we never would have reached or spoken to before. They've never bought a product from us. They just somehow heard about it from a friend, and then they've joined us. And so, there's definitely some pluses that going through the pandemic has given us to enable us to reach more of the community who may, like you say, be feeling alone or lost, or, how do I do this? How do I do that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that we've offered, and we've had a couple of groups. We have these low vision support groups that they're all throughout the country, but we're finding it hard, obviously, to connect with each other during this pandemic, and so we're hosting some of those Zoom calls for them, and just giving them opportunities to jump on and join. But it's just so important to be connected, and it's obviously much more difficult than it was. But you're right, in some ways, it's giving people opportunities that they didn't have before, with transportation being difficult, or living in an area where there wasn't a group available. they now have opportunities. So you're right, that is a good thing.
Yeah, and I know like my wife and I, we're not getting together with our gang for lunches or brunches or dinners, and, being able to stay in contact, with family and friends from across the country as well, using Zoom or whatever method you have available to you, is allowing us to stay in touch and stay connected.
Yep. Great point.
Are your discussion groups open to anybody?
They are. We do ask that you're signing up on the site,
Okay.
and then you have access to them. Again, it's just the simple sign up process, and then you'll have access to not only the live ones, but then we keep all the past ones that we've done on the site as well, where you can again download that audio or just listen directly on the site, or the transcripts are there as well.
Sure.
And so they are, past ones and current ones are all available. And we also have if you're on the site, that you can get alerts, and so you can sign up for alerts, and we'll send you an email to let you know when the next one is coming up, and we'll send you an email to let you know when we posted one to the site. And then there's also an add to calendar feature where you can obviously with like Google Outlook or whatever it might be, whatever calendar you're using, you can add that to your calendar to get the reminders each month as well. But yeah, it is, again, we're asking kind of for a sign up process to get involved in those discussion groups.
Okay.
There's one other thing that I think we feel like is really important, but we're seeing it's not a lot of people we're seeing are kind of taking advantage of it. One of the things that we heard over and over again was how important the relationship people had with their instructor was. Like they love that relationship with their instructor, and they love being able to correspond with them. And we wondered how that was going to kind of play out once we started moving more of our workshops or more of our courses into these workshop kind of formats. But on each workshop page, we have a phone number and an email that will allow you to connect with the actual learning experts that develop the content that you're watching. So like in our technology area, we have like 4 or 5 different, what we're calling learning experts, instructors that develop the content for those workshops.
Right.
You can call, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can call a number and reach one of those 4 or 5 people and talk to them directly about any questions that you have about the workshop or any concerns that you have or anything like that. So we're trying to be as readily available as we can to anybody that needs us in the moment. You can also email them, and then one of those 4 will get back to you, depending on when they get it, and email you back. But the idea is that we want to have any of our learners, anybody that's on our site, have full access to the experts that actually created this content. And then if anytime there's any concerns or you're having a difficulty with the site at all, there's a little help button that travels all throughout the site. And if you select that, we have a fully accessible live chat that's available. So anybody in the moment can just ask any question that goes right to our support service team, and they're there to answer any questions, or there's a phone number there too that you can call and get them directly as well. So we're trying to be as available as possible for any questions or concerns that come up.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's very well planned out how the process works, from sign in to delivery of products to getting assistance from Hadley themselves.
We're trying. We were calling this 2.0, and we're already in revisions for 2.1, and we're talking about 2.2. So
wow.
We're still getting a lot of feedback, and it's a work in progress, but we're hoping we're going in the right direction.
So before we let you go, can you tell us what's next for Hadley?
We're going to continue. We launched this in July. That's a great question, Ryan. I think we're still trying to figure out how this is all going to work. But we're getting a lot of feedback right now. Again, suggestions of workshops that are missing. And we knew we were going to be missing something. So we want to make sure that we're really paying attention to that and getting the content out there that people are wanting and need help with. And so we're working hard to develop new content every day. And then we're also, the site itself, we're working on making sure that that's as friendly and efficient as possible. And so we're getting a lot of feedback about that as well. Things that, that we need to tweak, things that we need to change, things that we need to improve. And so, we're really working towards that right now as well. but and again, all the offline content, we want to make sure that we're having all of that available, and so we're continuing to develop all the workshops that we have to get that offline in large print, Braille, and audio as well, to get that sent out to anybody that needs it who's not online. And I think that's keeping us busy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody probably working remotely too, right? So it's a whole new dynamic.
And we did launch our Braille for the Sighted Learner series, and we're getting great feedback about that. And that just reminded me that we're currently we're developing our tactile series. We're trying to update that a little bit as well to make it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more. So that should be rolling out relatively soon too, a new tactile series, for the offline learner.
Great. Well, if people wanted more information on Hadley or what programs were available to them, where can they find you?
Yeah, give us a call. Our 800 number is it's 1-800-323-4238. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. We're available. You'll call that number. You'll get either Anna, Georgette, Ashley, or Candace. Those are our 4 support service team members that'll answer any of your questions. Or hadley.edu is our website. And so hopefully you can find anything that you need on that site, and ways to contact us too.
Perfect. Well, Marc, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you and learning more about what Hadley has to offer. It's been 20 plus years since I've looked at the site and access services, so it might be time to get back to learning UEB.
Take a look, yeah. Well, let us know what you think, Ryan. We're always wanting feedback, but it's changed a little bit in 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Marc. Well, thank you again so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks. I enjoy talking about Hadley, so I appreciate you letting me do that.
Great. All right. Well, you take care.
You too.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Marc. Bye-bye.
Well, look at you, sir. I thought that was a fine interview. We did good.
We did good. Damn you. It was me. All me.
Listen. Okay, fine. You did good.
Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about what's your impression of everything?
Well, it's interesting, during my interview with Marc, when I had first lost my sight back in 1995 and started to reach out to people about learning Braille, Hadley was brought up, and so I had done some Braille correspondence courses with Hadley, and all of their services are free of charge. So you basically sign up, they mail you your Braille books, you have an instructor assigned to you, you fill out the assignments, you mail them back, and it just kind of goes back and forth like that. But since then, they've brought in so many more courses on technology, daily living, how to label things, cooking, cleaning, Apple, Android. So many courses are available now, and a lot of it is done online. It was just really great to to find out what Hadley is doing currently and, what's available now, because I hadn't looked at them in 20 years. So, it was great.
That's a lot of resources for free.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, we talk a lot about like places like the CNIB and stuff, who obviously provide a lot of services for free. But places like this, they, you don't hear of them too much, but they're also incredibly important.
Well, that's what I said to Marc. I said, we've been doing the show like 4.5 years, and there's still some big players in the blind and partially sighted community we haven't had on the show yet, Hadley being one of them. Yeah. And I was kind of dumbfounded that we hadn't had them on yet. So I was really glad that they were willing to come on and talk to us about what they offer. And, again, at no charge. So if people haven't looked at Hadley for Braille learning, or even if you're a sighted person and wanting to learn Braille, they have courses for you as well. There's just a lot there that they offer, and it's worth looking at.
Where are they based?
Illinois.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
Oh, it's my favorite movie. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do over like during Christmas. I'm just going to rewatch all my favorite movies.
There you go.
Get a huge magnum of wine and just spend like 3 days just watching all the classics.
What are you going to drink for the other 2 days?
Yeah, that's I don't need more than that. Hey, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find us?
They can find us online at atbanter.com.
They can also send us an email if they go to their computer board and type in cowbell at atbanter.com. You can talk to us.
Well, rumor has it they can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
You're out of options now. If you can't use one of those, you're screwed.
Yep, exactly. Hey, Ryan, I have to ask you a question. So, because you're usually dialed into this stuff, I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time since Google has done any sort of an event or Apple has done any sort of an event. We haven't really heard much in the way of like anything really hardware related news or anything out of these guys. What's going on?
Well, Apple just released their new Mac Minis and their new M1 processors in the the Mac Mini, I think there's the MacBook. What's their laptop? They've got the laptop, not the MacBook, but the
Laptop?
Yeah. Anyway, they've released their new M1 chips in some of their computers. Google has been releasing some software stuff, updates to Android. So Android 11 is out. They now have a voice control feature as well, kind of like iOS is. Everything's been virtual this year, right? So there have been some announcements, but it has been fairly quiet. Most of the big tech stuff happens in the spring and summer. So fall's pretty quiet usually. No, I'm hearing good things though about the new M1 chip from Apple, and it sounds like everybody is working on getting. I know Microsoft is working on getting their apps to run on the ARM processors. Which I think is what the M1 chip actually is. But Apple did their own silicon, right? They created their own chip. They're not using Qualcomm's or anybody else's. So it's going to be, I think 2021 is going to be an interesting year for, processing power, battery power, and, just getting apps to run everywhere.
You know what I feel like? I feel like Apple is in the same boat as a lot of assistive technology in the sense that what they really need to do is they need to figure out a way to bring the price point of their products down. Well,
did you see their recent announcement on the iPods Max or AirPods Max? It's like their regular AirPods earbuds, but it's over the ear headphones now. And supposedly the price is just extravagantly overpriced.
What are they doing, man?
Well, it's the Apple Premium, right? The fanboys will buy it.
Although that is a good idea, because I'm sure those AirPods I would love to see the stats on like how many people lose those AirPods.
Well, I know people I've spoken to, some of them say they just don't stay in their ears.
Yeah.
I've never seen them myself, so I don't know how well built they are and what the audio quality is, but if they're not staying in your ears, what good is a $300 pair of earbuds?
$300? That's crazy.
Well, yeah, $200 or $300. I'm just throwing that number out there, but they're not cheap.
No, they certainly are. No, they're at least. I'm pretty sure they're about $200. I think.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is just insane to me for a price of a pair of headphones. And the fact that these new ones are even more expensive.
Yeah, those headphones better be able to park your car for that price.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and you can buy some pretty decent studio quality headphones for $200-$300. You can definitely go higher in price, of course, like anything. But I don't know, an Apple product at whatever price they're charging. Again, they're from what I'm told, they're pretty expensive. We could always look it up, but I don't know. Just because it has the Apple logo on it, I don't think justifies the price.
Well, I mean, and listen, I guess that strategy is working for them because obviously there are people out there that are willing to pay that Apple premium.
Yep.
And listen, they're good products. There's no doubt about it. But
well, it's the same as cars, right? You could buy a Jaguar, or a Mercedes, or a Rolls Royce. It'll get you from A to B, but so will a Honda.
That's right. I mean, hey, we've said for years that I'd love a Mac, but
sure.
Man, can't afford it.
Well, the Mac Minis are like $899 Canadian.
Hey, listen, everybody, do you want to buy AT Banter on Mac? Then you should go to NS Tech and buy a cowbell.
Well, about
Have enough stock for that? $25. How many?
About 40 cowbells.
about 2,400, and yeah, we're good.
We'll start up a campaign. I don't know what we would do with a Mac. We would just have one. We could share it. Could go around to each of our places. Could share custody of the Mac. Okay, well, where were we? We were
Brotherhood of the Traveling Mac.
All right. Well, I guess that was it. I think we're done.
Yeah, so I think you got to do the hey. That's going to about do it.
Yeah. Oh, am I that predictable?
Yes, you are.
You. Great. That is going to about do it for us this week. Big thanks to Ryan for conducting that interview. Big thanks to Marc Arneson. We will see everybody next week.